Howdy, howdy, folks. Welcome to Babble with Bronies. I am your host. My name is Everlasting Joy. And joining us today for our comic read is the one and only Icesticker.
Hello.
It's a very short comic. It's just one or just a couple rolls. So yeah, it's not going to be as big as last week's. But doesn't mean it's not going to be as fun.
Oh, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, just give it time. Just give it time, folks. I don't really have much for pony news, like, the usual news that I bring, like card games and comics. But I take that back. I do have comic news. Two releases this week. Um, Friends Forever number 15 and Main Series 29 are out. I'll give you both of the links at the same time. Here's Friends Forever, Ice.
Friends forever. The
And
French.
25 or 29.
Jeez, I'm falling behind on these.
Yeah, I know, right?
I
I'm
have
waiting
like a.
for a big sale myself.
I usually buy all the hard copies, so I have like this stack of like physical copies just sitting beside my desk that are like maybe like 6 months of comics that I just haven't had the time to read, and they
I
just sit
like,
there.
like I said, I do digital, and so I'm just waiting for Comixology to do a fire sale
Those are always great. Hopefully, Humble Bundle will do another one.
or something like that. Yeah, that'd be perfect. Anyway, folks, 15 Friends Forever 15 stars of all people, Mayor and Applejack. And main comic number 29 deals with Cheerilee, believe it or not. So we have some really interesting stories in the lineup here. Mr. Ben. Ugh. Let's see. What else do I have here? Do you have anything left to say, Ice?
No, I don't think so. Other than I like the wrestling
I do
kind of
have.
a fan. Yeah,
Yeah, I
except for
know.
that Hulk Hogan one. That's overused.
Let me tell you something, brother. My image is
Should
way too overused.
should have used John Cena.
Now, you want to talk about overused there?
Which is what I'm doing right after we're done this. Is I'm going to watch WrestleMania.
Cool beans, man. Cool
Yeah.
beans.
This was like, oh, very nice wrestling covers.
All right, then. I gave both. Let's move on. Let's see. That's all of the really external news that I have. But the internal news, on the other hand, I've got quite a lot this time, folks. Where do I want to begin with this one? How about I start with this kind of a sleeper? It just got finished last night, and we're announcing it today. This is the Cinemaquestria Open application. Now, this one is a little bit.
Are you guys holding a golf tournament?
Sort of. This one works a little bit different than what we have done in previous recruiting waves. Unlike the previous ones where we would set some time, we'd say, we have 2 months, put your name in. If we like what we see, we'll call you. This one, on the other hand, is going to remain open indefinitely. You're going to put your name in, and your name is going to be put in our database. If we can find a position for you, we'll call you. So basically, if you really want to work here, then put your name in, and like I said, if we like what we see, we will consider you. But this does not mean that if you put your name in, that's guaranteed staff membership. The only thing that it is it just puts your name in a database. Um, anything else on this one, Ice? You can think of?
No,
Yeah.
but I would like just to say I'm getting like an 80s Chinese vibe from the Chinese movie vibe from the stream because it's muted and I can hear you, but it's delayed like 3 seconds. So out of the corner of my eye, I can see you in the bottom of the screen talking, and it's just silence, and your mouth's moving and nothing's coming out.
Hey, squeaky, squeaky. Who is he? I don't know. I love that movie. All right. And of course. Oh, why the hey not? We have released this was about a week ago, but I didn't get to. I decided to just wait until I decided to wait until today to release this. This is our premiere day schedule. This is what we will be showing throughout the day on April 4th. Starts at 5 in the morning with Matt the Shadowman streaming Sonic Adventures speedrun. A speedrun of that game. And basically going until a little before and after. Or just check it out. We've got quite a variety of shows going on for you here. We've got a huge day planned. Check it out.
Jeez. You guys are going to be busy that day, eh?
Oh, if you think we're busy then, you should have seen us before it.
I mean, what a lineup. Johnny Bravo and Trigun all in the same day? Within an hour? Oh, geez. You're going to kill everybody. They're not going to make it to ponies.
Are you Vash the Stampede? I love that series so much.
Oh,
It's
so
so
do
good.
I. It is.
All right. Then, in light of that, we also, I want to say this for everyone. Never mind. I'm going to say that for when we get there. I have something a little bit extra to go with this later. But for one other thing I want to mention about our site, and I know I've been really falling behind on this because this is what happens when you have only one day to get everything planned. Our movies for April 8th, that's next Wednesday, not the coming Wednesday, the week after. We have our first movie is The Secret of Nim and Atlantis: The Lost Empire. So if you're interested in seeing those movies, stop on by on Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Jeez, I thought you were going to say after Secret of Nim, you're going to do Fern Gully. Like, torture them.
Oh, you want... I'll tell you what, though. We are having something special planned for April 1st. The Wednesday, the week before that. Stop on by.
Are you playing Gen 3.5? Is it Scooly's birthday?
I'm not going to give it away, but I'll just throw that in there for you. But anyway, so everyone, Ice included, art or videos first?
Oh, that's a tough one. How many videos do we have this week?
3 videos.
Do any of them feature rarity?
No, surprisingly.
Okay, we should do art. We should do art first then.
Okay. Let's see what the audience has to say.
That is how I judge what goes first. The amount of rarity it has.
So I got 1 for art and 2 for art now. I think it's a pretty big blowout here. We're going to
Yeah.
the art.
Pretty sure whoever voted for video just did it to be different.
All right. I got a couple of comics here, but I don't have a truckload of them. How about we go with this one titled Rare Apple Cats by Assassin Monkey.
Oh god, Assassin Monkey.
He did something a little bit different this time around.
It's Applejack, isn't it?
Yep.
Predictable. But he is great.
He also did rarity in this one.
Perfect. I picked the right choice. Oh, this one. I remember
Long
this.
story short, as he put it, you can blame White Diamonds for this one.
I'm going to.
What I loved about this was, A, the concept, of course, the kitties, and just the idea of Assassin Monkey taking a dabble in a different art style. I thought it was worth showing.
You really like those pony kitties, don't you?
Yes, I do. Why,
It just
don't you?
shows. I was gonna say, it just shows just how effective Monkey is when it comes to stuff. He can just doesn't matter the style. He'll
Nope.
nail it and hit it out of the park as long as it has Applejack in it. It's like his criteria.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
True, no one else will.
Anything else?
No.
All right.
Let's
Let's move on.
before you get too distracted.
Yeah. How about... Ooh, this one was a sent in from Twilight is Magic. Suit and Tie by Ten Art. That almost sounds like a Doctor Who reference.
For some reason, when you said the name, I was like, this is going to be something to do with Vinyl Scratch. I don't know why. But it's even better. It's Diamond Tiara.
I thought this was a pretty darn good picture. I like the simplicity. I like what it's saying. The chat. Go on.
And it's Diamond Tiara. How can you not like that? Come on. She's like best Philly. Yeah, she just looks so evil and menacing, but at the same time, it's just like perfect. It's like what Diamond Tiara should look like if she was like human.
Pretty much. Yeah, I would agree with that. It gives off that sort of, yes, I'm an evil businessman kind of vibe in
Like
saying very little to it, though.
like a mobster.
Exactly.
Gonna come break your knees.
Yeah, I saw this one and it wasn't a contest. I had to have this one in.
Yeah, this is I for the moment I saw it was just like favorite.
All right. How about we go with this one? This one was kind of a fun one that I saw. This one also was a Tim recommendation. This is Viking Eric's Viking Eric 78's Spyro Dash.
This is intimidation.
What?
So this is intimidation. Let's see, Spyro Dash. The name does not bode well. Oh, I was expecting like Spyro. This is better. This is instantly better than what I had in mind. Instantly. It's like, oh god, another Spyro recolor.
Ugh. Thank you for putting those images in my head, man.
Oh, just goes on forever and ever.
I know.
That poor Dash is gonna get sick soon.
Let's fly to the castle.
This is how Nintendo made Rainbow Road.
You know what? I'd like to see that.
I would like to see them just have like one level that's just a giant spiral turn. And you just have to drift the entire way around.
Dude, that
Up
would
the
be so
entire thing.
awesome.
It would.
What was the what's your favorite of the background music to each one? Which one's your favorite?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't played Mario Kart in forever.
I
So I don't
still
know.
say
Hey,
that.
like,
Go ahead.
oh, I probably just like the normal like Mushroom Kingdom Mario levels, the
Fair enough.
originals.
I still say that the SNES version of Rainbow Road was the best one.
Did have a good one.
That was.
The SNES had some good music. That's like where I remember all mine from. It's like those original songs that they've kind of just remixed into other ones now.
Which is sad, kind of. There's a
Yeah.
nostalgia factor to it, but at the same time, we wouldn't mind some originality.
Yeah. Instead, just make a level that's just a giant spiral and make you use the drift. Just go all the way up or down, or either way. And if you fuck up, you probably lose because you won't be able to catch up to anybody after that.
All right. Let's go. How about we go with. Okay, let's go with this one. This is Gorik's Twilight and Spike. Twilight with Spike, I'm sorry.
Spike.
What drew me to this one was the usual high level of detail he gives the characters.
Jeez, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Twilight with feathers on her shoulder like that. I kind of like it.
That's kind of cool. Just imagine the Royal Guard sitting there with that all full out and armor and stuff. They look pretty imposing.
You make a good point about that. That would be awesome. And it would certainly be, intimidating.
I don't know. That fluff on the ears, though, that's just like...
High level of detail on that one. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
By the way, yes, Tim recommended this one to me as well. He did quite a number this episode for various reasons. Wasn't a truckload biting out there from what I could find.
Yeah. Spike, I feel Spike is too realistic in this. I don't know, it's kind of off-putting. That might just be me. I don't know. It's just like, whoa. Scales everywhere.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah. Still no wings. Poor Spike. He'll never fly. Everybody else is going to get wings, but you.
Oof.
That's his plan.
I knew it.
Oh, we all seen it coming. We're like, this is what he's going to do.
Dun 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 dun. Dun.
That's what he came back for this season. He's like, I have unfinished business. There's not enough wings.
That'd be hilarious. All right. How about I have two of them here from Captain Pudge Muffin. Do you want to do the comic first or the image first?
I think we should do the comic first.
There isn't much to say here, but we have an unnamed, unshown narrator type and Pinky.
I'll do the narrator.
Okay.
Unless you want to do the narrator.
Well, if I do it, it's going to be the SpongeBob French narrator.
That's what I was thinking, because you have that narrator voice, so maybe you should do it. Oh, this one.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. Gotta bring it up. Captain Pudge Muffin. Always with the... Oh, let's see.
Whenever you're ready.
All right.
All right. Pinky. Prepare for emergency snuggles. Code Fluff.
And then... Bring it!
I love how there was another picture someone else made earlier this week. A comic where Rarity was trying to stylize Pinky's mane, but no avail. That's all I can
Yeah,
picture is in this same image here with her. With her, if her hair got cut or something, she'd just do something like this, and bam,
it
she'd
would just grow back.
Yep, restore the status quo.
Look at her. She's just so fluffy and puffy.
Can I pet her mane?
Not just pet it, just like there's the snuggle pony for you.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It's-
I always like these drawings that he does with like super fluffy ponies.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
The next one, everyone probably saw this one at some point. Sassy Twy.
Oh, this one. I've had this one open in a tab since it came out.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, there are some images that are like that, right?
Yeah. Just I don't know, half of them are Twy for some reason. I don't even know why, but people just like to make her when she's like a filly and she gets all serious like this. It's hilarious.
Because it's adorable.
It is. She's a scrunched up nose.
Admit it, you'd pick her up and hug her, even though she doesn't exactly come across as wanting that.
Oh, she does. She's playing coy. She's trying to use reverse psychology. She probably just read a book on it. Like this, I'm going to attempt this.
I still look at this with just, oh my gosh, is that adorable? I know I already said that, but darn it, is it cute.
Look at her. She just put her in my pocket and leave.
Exactly.
She's definitely a pocket pony.
All right. We're blazing through these. Kind of like that.
Dun dun dun. Just wait until we have what comes up later. He'll take enough time.
Yeah, I know. Let's go with this one. This one is titled Prairie Wind by Pedro Hander. Hope I pronounced that correctly.
Probably pronounce it better than I would.
Tim recommended me this one, and partially because it's Cadence and partially because it looks so pretty, did I want this one in my show queue.
Well, you sold me at Cadence.
I know I would. I thought I would.
Oh, look at it. Oh, it's all lineless and everything too. It looks pretty. I like the painting feel to it.
I like the wind effect that he gave this one. It looks very... Yeah. It's very... It complements things very well here.
Yeah. It did the hair really well. The mane and stuff, the hair really well. I know some people who do the wind, like put sectional hair like hers or Celestia's in the wind, it always ends up looking kind of segmented and like weird because of that. Mm-hmm. But here they kind of blend. They look like they blend together, and it's all part of one mane rather than like three separate sections stacked on top of each other.
I'd agree with that. The chat. Cadence confirmed for fairy type. She was already OP. Nerfplex. Or
yeah.
Plays Nerf.
Good thing I use fairies. She'd be up at the top.
Some of those comics some Pokemon comics that come out, they're funny.
They can be. Pokemon has its own rich
lore.
Yeah, it's just own rich environment over there. There's so much hate too.
Yeah,
depending on what type you like, you just like this instant like sports fan level hate for other For other types. Usually whatever type does double damage to the type that you like.
And
So that's
don't get me started on each generation.
jeez.
They will eat you alive. But
Oh yeah.
anyway, getting back to this, anything else to say on Prairie Wind?
Oh, the flowers are very nice too.
Mm-hmm.
Could never do that. I'd be like, Mega Studio, bring me my flower brush, and I would stamp them all over the place. And be like, look at all these identical flowers. They were all the same because that's what the brush told me to do.
All right, let's move on. Let's see. I'll save that one for a little bit later. Let's go with this one. The Crystal Empire's Love by Luminara.
Sounds like another Cadence one.
It is not. Well, partially. I'll let you take a look at this one.
Let's see. Oh, it's Twilight. Where's Flash? I don't see Flash. This is impossible. He needs to be in this. He'd be perfect sitting there right beside Twilight. He'd be perfect.
What are you trying to do? Start a war?
No, that war started a long time ago. I'm just winning it.
I was going to say, are you trying to throw fuel on the fire?
Yeah. I'll make it Flash.
Oh. Well played, Ice. Well played. I wanted to show this one, not just for the colors, but mostly for the perspective of this one. I like this perspective, having Twilight centered right there, but then having this whole huge landscape right in front of her.
Yeah, she's slightly off center and she's just over the side and she's creating all this light.
Mm-hmm.
It is something. Just the blues and the pinks together, and then some purples is just. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice in the volcano.
Very good use of.
Mm-hmm.
How do I want to put this? Placement.
Yeah.
Twilight doesn't feel. She doesn't feel like she's the whole center of it. It's got two focal points: Twilight and the Crystal Empire in the background, just slightly to her right. That was pretty darn good. That was a good move.
Yeah, you almost forget Twilight's even there, and your eyes are drawn straight, like because of the way the light's going. You're drawn straight to like the silhouette of the Empire at the back there. Mm-hmm. And then there's Sombra up in the corner. There's a big puff of smoke, and he's waiting. He's waiting.
Hi guys.
Can we be friends now? I'm reformed. Just want some crystals. You gave some to Spike. Why can't you give some to me? And then the mirror image of the actual Empire on this lake that seems to be taking up most of the middle ground there. Makes it look like ice.
Mm-hmm. It's really good.
Which is nice because we all know the Crystal Empire is in the middle of the snow for some reason. Yeah, it doesn't snow inside it.
Magic.
It's like, where can we get this weather magic? It's like they were supposed to wrap up winter for the entire area, but they got lazy. And like, we're just gonna do the city borders, and that's it. And the rest of the city, the rest of it, we don't care.
Hey, it works for me if it's that easy to clean up, because we could actually use that where I am.
Yeah, ours has already started to melt, but it's Canada. Doesn't mean tomorrow it doesn't snow again.
Yeah, I know, right? I know that all too well. All right, let's go with this one by Uotapo, titled Motocrosser.
Oh, this one.
I'm sure everyone has seen this one, but yeah, Tim recommended it to me. I wanted to put this in regardless, so...
Sunset Shimmer, how can you not like it?
Exactly, my thoughts exactly.
She's best pony, even if she's not in pony form.
Best pony no matter where I am.
Yeah.
That's just how badass she is.
She is. Look at this. Uotapo is just the best Sunset Shimmer stuff.
He does fantastic EQG work. I wonder why
Yes.
he chooses the EQG format. Not that I'm complaining, just he has the pony forms to
Chris,
work with, and he does Equestria girls. How come?
because his ponies are a little. His ponies aren't anatomically the best out there,
Okay.
but given given he's Japanese, I would probably think that he has a lot more experience with the human form in terms of drawing. So that just might be his natural kind of inclination is to go humanized because you definitely get definitely like an anime style vibe to his characters. He's
I
kind
would
of
agree with
mushed the
that.
two together. So I think it's just a matter of probably he's probably more familiar with human dimensions than he is pony dimensions, and you can do a lot more with a human than you can a pony, anyways.
True.
Mm.
Yeah, this one, like I said, not much of a contest to put this one in.
No, that bike is just. I couldn't even imagine trying to draw that. It's just.
Oh, what's the movie? Darn it, I can't think of the movie that. Ugh, never mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, why don't we move on?
Yeah, before I get distracted by this bike. I don't know. Sounds like she was sitting on the bike, but for some reason I'm just more fascinated with the bike and just the complexity in it.
This one is titled. It's a commission, Shining Bright During Longest Night by Wrist Sketch. Love that name.
Ooh, yeah. Does he do risque stuff though?
I don't believe she does. I checked her work. I don't think she does that.
She's wasting her name then. She's under her potential. She should be doing risque stuff. It'd be perfect. The perfect pun name.
We have Celestia and Shining Armor. Who do you want?
I will do shining armor.
All right. We do have one off by Twilight, so you want her as well, or?
Sure, I'll do the Twilight one too.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
All right. I know who you are. You're the Mare in the Moon. I think that's one's me. Nightmare Moon. That's your sister out there. Oh, that's why all this is happening.
Yes, Shining. This is true.
Hmm.
What I am about to tell you, I have not spoken to another soul. Not your sister, not even to Cadence. They are echoes to me. Echoes of what I once had with her. Echoes of what I lost 1,000 years ago. And now, there is nothing more I can do for her than what I have already done. Can you see? Don't you understand how painful all of this is to me?
I do.
Then please, let me take this crown off for just a few minutes. Let me weep for my sister as you would for yours.
Oh, jeez.
There's a reason I didn't joke with this one, guys in the chat.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't go all weird voice on this one either. This is. I don't know. Oh. Even though the writing is kind of blocky, it's still.
It's
It's
the
a point
idea that I
across.
wanted from this one.
Yeah. Still, jeez. I like the idea of shining armor having more than just being in that like confidant role for them. The princesses like they put that much trust in the captain of the guard.
I like the vulnerability of Celestia here.
Yeah.
Why would something like this not happen, about said time, whether just slightly before or slightly after?
Probably what we did.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, I could, again, in a weaker moment, I could honest to God see Celestia doing this. And given the fact that, again, it makes sense to have it be shining armor, that he would understand what it is like to be a sibling. So here's Celestia, someone who has lost a sibling, and here's Shining Armor, who has a sibling and knows what that might be like. Put the two together here, people.
Yeah. Would have been better if it was Flash.
Way to ruin it, man.
But no, that's... It's just, and just like the wispiness of the background makes it even more. It's like, look at this. It's all memoryified and mystic.
All right.
They could work on the shining armor, though. That's all I can say. Still.
Let's go to this one. This one is titled Take 5 by Citra 360. Been a long time since I've had him on. And you can blame the DA ban for that one.
Tisk.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh, this one.
This one I wanted to put on, not just because it looks awesome, but, again, the concept behind it.
Man, I love this changeling in the front who's just trying to eat a tree.
Nom.
It's just like... everybody's just like... Even Crystal's just like, what are you doing? Don't embarrass me.
He was never one of the sharper tools in the shed.
Just eating a tree. It's like, I understand you're trying to find new food, but still, it's a tree.
In case you're wondering the background of this story, or of this image, it comes for a fan fiction. Where, I'm not kidding, here's the fan fiction synopsis. It would make me read it, because if I had the time, I would so read it. Trying to conquer the ponies again, Chrysalis comes up with an even better idea. Instead of a full-fledged invasion, she decides to make a movie about the ponies in order to understand them. Yes, I'm not kidding about that.
She's making a movie.
That's awesome. I like that idea. Let's make a movie.
We'll have a documentary. We'll call it When the Food Wins. Jeez.
One of the things I want to mention is the lighting. I like what he did with the light, the whole tree, the sunlight shining through it, things like that. Really good job.
Yeah. It's just really improved in the last couple of years in terms of his coloring.
Mm-hmm.
Just like his choices where he's putting stuff. And the lighting is very... Particularly on like Chrysalis, who's all black, and you get those nice white shines on her.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes her seem less pony, more bug than maybe than most people usually make her. And you just have the changelings that are around her who are all like, "Is he gonna eat it? Can we eat the tree too? Is it gonna be successful?" They're all waiting apprehensively to like attack this tree if this guy succeeds.
It must be one of those kite eating types.
Yeah. I imagine part of it is them going around trying to see if they can find other food to eat besides like having to prey on ponies.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of them's just like, I'm gonna try to eat a tree. Who thinks I can eat the tree? Anybody? Or one of the other ones is like, I'll give you like 5 bits to eat that tree.
No, if he was smart, it'd be 5 bits says you can't eat that tree.
Either way, man, you got the guy eating the tree. And Twilight's just like, what the hell? Why are you eating the tree when there's all this lovely grass around?
All right, let's go on to this next one. It's Tox time.
Ha ha ha. Is he here?
He should be.
He's not. He lies all the time.
He said he'd be here anyway.
Oh, he'll be here. He never misses a call when it's a 50.
Oh man,
Hi, Togs.
Oh man, yourself.
it's game on. All right, so what's the game plan?
We have your comic, Never a Dull Moment.
Ah, yes,
for
the pun.
discussion.
Good, the pun comic. I like this one.
The pun comic, as if the rest of them weren't puns.
I know. Well, they're supposed to be puns. I like pun stuff. Oh, right. And the best part about this, there's absolutely no dialogue in this one.
But where's the fun in that? Where are you going to hear my silly voices then?
That's that no. Don't worry, I have other ones later on.
All right, I'll go through it.
Okay. Actually, I almost completely forgot about this. I was actually watching really freaky videos on YouTube. It was actually really spooking me out. It was actually really, really fascinating.
Do any of them have a Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you still watching those videos?
No, I just found a whole new one. It was really weird, but it was really cool.
Does it have anything to do with Zelda CDI games?
No, this had to do with 20 mysterious facts that should not exist that they found. It's really weird. It's really weird. They actually do exist. It's kind of creepy.
Then you're not doing the weird part of YouTube.
I'm not doing the weird stuff. I'll show it tonight. It's really weird. I'll put it that way.
Joy, there's a limit to the freaky, and CDI Zelda is just like too far. That's like stay up all night. Like, don't turn off your lights because you're afraid that it's gonna come get you.
Watch out in your sleep, or else the CDI Ganon will get you.
Coming for you. See, you go put in your Majora's Mask, and it'll turn into CDI Zelda.
So tell us about this one.
All right. So basically, what this one is this comic. Or I'll put it this way: this is the last comic I'm doing before season 5, before I start these. But the funny thing about this whole comic is, this one actually was in the books for quite a while. It kept going through multiple different variations. Although, why is my phone ringing? My phone should not be ringing. Oh, it's ringing. Okay, so that's gonna be a fun thing.
Song.
That's gonna be a fun thing. That's gonna be a fun thing to review on the stream, on the video playback. So basically, this one was the first one in about 2.5 years that I done a Shining Armor and Twilight comic, and oddly enough, there was only one screenshot of Twilight's room, and that's from the Cancel Out Wedding. So basically, I literally had to wing up her room just by that one screenshot, just adding different types of crap and stuff like that to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing because actually how weird I was in a groove trying to draw Philly Twilight. Recently, I'll put it that way. But the only bad thing is whenever I do comics post season 5 stuff, I won't be doing any Philly stuff unless there's a break in the season at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the CMC stuff.
But that seems I have a much harder time drawing CMCs than I do with normal characters. I have no idea. It's just really, really annoying. So basically, this one was very interesting because I had to add a bunch of crap to the foreground, and literally everything from not the last panel, which I had a pretty decent idea how to work with that one. Everything else, I literally just made up her room. Because it's really, if you look at it, there's nothing that depicts the other half of her room from that very 2-second screenshot from the Cancel Out Wedding episode.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was a freaking nightmare for me to do because that honestly, I have not drawn Shining Armor again in 2.5 years, and not only that, it was just a pain in the ass to get this comic all set and ready to go because it's a big comic.
Right.
And castle backgrounds are not exactly the most easiest ones to do. And then again, I'm doing these off from flat scratch. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this one came out. I was extremely pleased with how this one came out in the end. And so pleased I'm going to use that last hugging panel as a print at some point later this year.
Good. You should.
I am. I'm going to use them because I don't have anything. I don't have anything non-DBZ Twilight to use. But that one would be that'd be a nice one to have though.
Definitely. I just
I don't
like the
know.
idea myself.
Oh, just the birthday thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, because well, I mean, I was in this run with birthday things. I did the Cadence one, and then I did this one. But the thing is, we're trying to create Philly Twilight stuff because I try and stick to canon stuff.
Hmm.
It's much harder because you have to. It's basically you can't include Twilight in the main 6. The rest of the main's 5. So you basically have to think of stuff of how can Twilight do stuff with just Shining Armor and Cadence. So put it this way, after the season, I'm probably going to get a lot more Twilight stuff. It's just, again, season 5, I need to see what goes on with those because that will probably give me some crazier, more Philly ideas I can work with.
Sure.
But you know what? I made it. I actually made it through the season. I actually did it. I did the entire off season with comics and DVC pictures. I told you I was going to make it last.
I didn't say you wouldn't.
Yep. Although now the funny thing is about this is that actually I have 5 leftover comics I'm not going to be able to get to. That I'll save those for a rainy day. Well, yeah, I'm going to do this either post season 5 or do them during a break in season 5, which they usually sometimes do have. But fun fact, I'll mention this because this is like the last podcast before season 5. If season 5 and if there's no breaks in the season, it's going to end on August 29th. But I'm going to put this on record right now. My forecast is that the season is going to end on September 12th. So I'm going to go back and watch this podcast if that holds up.
If we're gonna go down that route, I would not be surprised to hear a mid-season break. To tell you the truth, why? Well, I can't say there is.
Well, just remember this.
It's kind of spoilery, but
just remember this. They didn't have a break in the season until episode I think 20. They went through 20 straight episodes straight. So they only did one break at this entire season 4. So my guess is that if you think about it, it's either going to be September 5th, the 12th, or the 19th. I can't see it going anything beyond September.
I could see them definitely doing like a split season if the first set of like episodes don't get a good viewer rate because of summer. Like once they hit the summer, like school ends, and if the episodes start to plummet in terms of the ratings, I could see them breaking it off and waiting until September to start it back up again.
Yeah, I would.
Really?
Summer, I can imagine they'd be thinking otherwise by, but we'll see.
Yes,
We'll see.
I'm going to review this podcast. I'm going to see it when I go back on it.
Anything else, guys?
Yeah. So talks.
Oh, God.
Sexy Wear Luna.
Yeah, I know. How about that? No, that's actually. No, I'm not going to do that. Actually, no. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do that. It's going to be stupid.
Sure.
That's just as bad as doing a Wear Celestia.
Then you should do that too.
I was going to say, speaking
actually
of which, when are you going to get onto that?
I would have a mental breakdown if I actually started drawing a Celestia like that.
You should.
You should, man.
For BronyCon.
No. Well, no.
People will buy it. Trust me.
Well, that would be terribly tragic then.
No, it wouldn't.
I was going to say, that's money for you. What's bad about that?
But I don't want to do it.
Don't lie. He probably has it already done up and like already finished, and he's just not telling anybody.
It's in some dark closet of some dark space of his closet that no one has access to without some cryptic password and a key.
He's got like a hidden folder within a passworded folder on his computer, hidden under like 3 different folders with wrong names. And there's one image of Where Celestia that he's just hoarding for himself.
Oh God, I'm scared.
I'm sorry, Tox, but
I think I may need to be. I think my mind's gonna have a mental breakdown there. but here's the good thing, The good thing about this whole thing is starting next week, it's gonna be 24 straight weeks of comics.
Woo!
Or actually no, because I'm gonna be throwing DBZ pony pictures in between those two. But either way, it'd be 24 straight weeks of comics with other crap mixed in.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Kilio.
Yes, it's gonna be amazing. And Ben, I'm not gonna do it.
All right.
Do it. You can't deny Ben.
Oh.
that already exists, Ben. There's already a bipedal Where's Celestia Werewolf out there?
God, now people are saying "Where Twist." That's something.
Where's
That's
Twist?
that's something. That's something Narc needs to get on.
All right, we
And-
really better wrap this up.
Yep, and now I am gonna go.
Take care, Tox.
Yep. All right, I'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
All right. Now it's video time. And he's been waiting very patiently in this, so I'm going to bring him into the call as well.
Yo,
Yellow.
how's it going?
Pretty darn good. And yourself?
Working in SFM right now, getting stuff ready for the summer. So,
The usual.
Yep.
All right. This is the Season 5 Hype Train by Adam the Amazing, folks. Now, this is the
Hey, that's me. Whoa.
Oh no.
It's the censored version, so don't worry about it. But
Yeah.
let's play it, shall we? Before we begin, I've been listening to this one fairly regularly because I cannot stop laughing at it. This was awesome. This was a great video.
Took a few hours to work on it and just like get the timing down on how I wanted the trains bouncing and all that. It was pretty funny though.
Should we play it first?
Yeah, let's go for
All
it.
right. Give it about 30 seconds and we'll continue talking.
Cool.
Let's get it on. You don't give a what, we don't give a what. Get it on the floor, get it on the floor. Get it on the floor, get it on the floor. You don't want to party, then gotta go. You don't want to party, then no gotta go. And you can ride to this motherfucker. Freak this motherfucker. Let's get it on. Get it on the floor, get it on the floor. Get it on the floor, get it on the floor. Once again, it's the dog. Hit a spark, pick apart. But the dog is bigger, under stress, to molest. We want to get blessed to the chest. The slugs from the spit
I told you I couldn't stop laughing at this.
It's just so dumb.
That's the fun of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great.
It's like you're just that. That's the hype train right there. I'm never going to get that image out of my head. This is the hype train for everything. Ponies, name any other season or series.
Series.
There you go.
I mean, if I wanted to do any other series, I could literally just use like the same animation and just like replace Twilight's head with that character's head and then just place the appropriate characters doing the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Release a Game of Thrones one.
Oh, yeah, there's Game of Thrones models for SFM, so that can be arranged.
Of course, wouldn't everyone die in that explosion then?
So what you want to know about it?
What do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah.
Thoughts behind it?
Okay,
Why'd you do it?
thoughts. Okay, so the quarter just ended for me for the winter term, and I wanted to, like, it completely drained me from SFMing for the entire month of March. I didn't do anything, and I'm like, I need to do something funny. So I'm like, okay, what can I piece together that can be entertaining, stupid, and then I check and I'm like, season 5's coming. What's the thing that people? It's been so long. Oh, hype train, because I play Super Smash Brothers as well, and I like the community for that. And Smash 4 hype train was a thing for such a long time, and so I'm just like, okay, well, ponies need a hype train now because our season is coming. So I was like, okay, let's see, what do we need with a hype train? So a lot of people like to mix like the Quad City DJs ride the train with yeah, but I was just like, nah, we need to go deeper. And then I was like, what's something? And I'm like, we have a Thomas the Tank Engine model. So might as well. Okay, I do enjoy the DMX rapping combined with Thomas to tank engines, so let's do that. Oh, we have a Pinkie Pie rapper model. Let's throw her in there. Let's put some shades on Rainbow. Swag hat. That hat's from Kirby Returns to Dreamland for the Wii. It's his biker cap. And then I had the Rarity Fancy model, and I gave her shades too. And it was just ludicrous, I tell you. Not the rapper ludicrous.
I was going to say, was that a pun?
That.
Oh, man.
Well, I mean, I clearly showed it was some thoughtful intuition.
For what it's worth, folks, if you don't mind all the swearing and whatnot, the uncensored version is much better.
It probably would be.
People. I knew that there would be people that would be offended, so that's why I made a censored one. And I was reading through the comments, and people were appreciative for that. So
I do too.
I'm glad to know. I'm glad to know that I'm connecting with my audience and giving them what they're wanting.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, although I might have gone a bit overboard with how loud the squeeze are.
No,
I think I had it from like. Yeah, I think I had it go up to max decibels for handle. I'm just like, screw it, we're having giant loud squeeze, and then I'm reading RIP headphone users. I'm like, ah.
But isn't
so? Yeah.
But ear rape is an essential element of such videos like this.
I mean, I would have added ear rape to the explosion if I was a jerk, but I think the squeeze were enough. So yeah, and now I'm trying to just, for next stuff, I don't know, I'm just going to be working on secret things for convention season for BronyCon. And then I'm going to start working on making the images for Five Nights at Pinky's, the video game. And I know one already came out, but I'm just like, well, that's not the one how I envisioned it. Nor am I I'm like, it's funny. I'm going to be working on that, but I'm so terrified I'm not even going to probably play it because I'm just like, I do not like playing horror games. I can watch people on YouTube play horror games. I cannot play them. Get too immersed into it, and then I'm just like, oh, heart attacks left and right. I love it.
Heart attacks left and right. I'm sorry, that just came out. It just came out funny.
I try to be.
All right, we should probably move on. Thank you, Adam, for stopping by.
Oh, anytime, dude. Peace, chat.
Later.
Yeah.
All right, I see him in there. So why don't we go straight to Tech Pony's video?
Let's do it.
This one I heard during the week, and it was way too addicting. As in, I had to put this in here because if I don't, it's going to drive me nuts. All right. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. Silence. Here we go.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything important. Cadence, sunshine, sunshine, ladybugs awake. Clap your hooves and do a little shake. Sunshine, sunshine, ladybugs awake. Clap your hooves and do a little shake. Sunshine, sunshine, ladybugs awake. Clap your hooves and do a little shake. Aha.
Told you it was addicting.
No, I seen that one earlier in the week too. I was like, oh gosh. So much plot.
I know. You know, I was tempted to mention that too. And here you do, Mr. Ben do, and here I mentioned it as well. Mr. Ben, I saw a comment on the YouTube channel that was like, imagine looking out the window in Canterlot and seeing all those wiggling Twilight butts. That'd be a nightmare.
It would be a dream come true for some of them.
Yeah, I know, right?
Jeez, so much. It's just imagine walking down the street and then just seeing a building with all these Twilight butts just like freaking dancing around it like a freaking sun.
Oh, good God, Tim. Told you it was a dick thing.
Oh, Tim would go there.
I think we're done here, folks. We're done.
Notice there was a 1 hour version.
Yeah, I know, right? Always the 1 hour version. And then there has to be the 10-hour version.
Yeah. Oh, geez, a 10-hour version. That'd be something you'd use to like interrogate somebody. By the end, all you'd be doing, you'd reduce them to like sunshine, and butts. That's all they do for the rest of their lives. It would haunt them.
Okay, I did send it. Good. And last on our list, this one is titled Apple Tree by Al Stiff. I hope that's how he pronounces his name. It's either AI Stiff or Al Stiff, and I think it's Al Stiff. There's for you. Now this one's a bit different than what I've just shown between both of the videos, so just let this one speak for itself more than anything.
I think his name might be All Stiff. I'm kind of apprehensive of what he's gonna do if he's all stiff.
All right, playing the video.
All right.
I'll just leave that one to speak for itself.
Yeah.
With that, that is all of the art and videos.
Dun dun dun.
So, are you ready to read this comic, Ice?
Let's go.
All right. You guys ready in the audience? Let's do this. Now, as we're saying, we're starting off with the Twilight Sparkle micro comic this time. Both the art and everything was done by a guy named Tom Zellner. Oh, wait, was that? I believe his name's Tom.
Thomas.
Yes. I know I have it written
Thomas
here
Zellner.
somewhere.
Thomas Taylor. I have it in front of me.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, the story, art, and letters.
So let's begin.
I must say before we start, when I read my comics now, Spike is always Scottish.
Hey, I'm fine with that.
Because I'm mentally advanced, even in my head, Spike is Scottish all the time now. I don't know why. I forget half the time. I forget what Spike actually sounds like.
We begin in Canterlot.
Dun dun dun.
So let me see. What were those? I can't remember. Who was it you took again? I can't remember.
I took Twilight and Celestia
That's right. I thought so.
because I wanted to talk to myself.
Are you nervous about your test, Twilight Sparkle?
My immediate level 2 magic test. What makes you say that, Spike?
Well, the main chewing is one sign.
And we... Oh, you so.
And we've been standing at the top of these stairs for almost half an hour.
I happen to like the view of Canterlot from here. And I... Oh, who am I kidding? It's only the hugest test ever!
Yeah, it's pretty bad. In fact, there's only one thing I can think of that's worse than that.
What?
Being late. Whoosh.
Greetings, Twilight Sparkle. You certainly have you seem excited to take your test. Yes, Princess Celestia. That's definitely one way of looking at it. Crap, I'm losing my voices. Unfortunately, there's been a change of plans. Summer Main, the Royal Archivist, has had a fall, and she can't get around.
Help, I'm falling and I can't get up.
I need to send some pony to help her until she can get back on her hooves. I was thinking you might not mind postponing your test. To the Royal Archives, the place where we keep copies of all our books, all of them. I'd skip the test forever to see it. I think a few days will be enough. Whatever it takes, then you'll leave right away. Please, I'm sure this work is piling up. Yes, Princess. I'm sorry, Spike. I'm afraid I need Twilight Sparkle to take this on by herself.
The Royal Archives.
Doesn't look like any archive I've ever been in.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just a house. Hello, any pony? Is any pony?
Who are you?
Are you Summermane? The princess sent me to help you.
Don't want any help.
Clearly. But the princess ordered me to.
Don't care.
It sure looks like it might rain out here.
Then you better gallop back before it starts.
All right. The princess said that if you don't let me in, I was to let you know that the next pony she sent will be your replacement.
Fine.
Sneaky twy.
Yeah, I know. Boink, boink, boink. What's your name?
Twilight Sparkle, I think.
I think you talk too much. Okay, try right. If you're going to work here, you need to know the rules. First rule, don't break the rules.
Do we?
Second rule, don't ask questions. Don't make trouble. Dinner is promptly at 6. Don't miss it. There's a guest suite down the hall. That's yours. And no snoring. And above all, never, ever enter my private office. Ever!
Got it.
These are the books. Don't know if you've seen them before, Twi'lek. Young ponies these days don't read.
I know very well what books are. I love to read.
Probably just comic books. Or maybe that silly series with the vampire pony.
I read everything. I've read Daring Do and The Quest of the Sapphire Statue. Of Ponies and Prejudice, The Horseback of Notre Dame. Your first book isn't a good example there, Twi.
Yeah, I know, right? Fine, you've read the titles of books. Who's your favorite author?
That's easy. Jade Singer. She wrote Canter in the Sky. She's a mystery, too. She only wrote one book and then disappeared. But what a book! It was the most awesome book ever.
Fine, you can read. Congratulations. It's late. We start tomorrow at 6. Later. Time to get up, Spotlight. Let's get to work.
Ma'am, I'm in the library. Twilight Sparkle reporting for duty, ma'am.
You got spunk, kid. I hate spunk. These books need to be shelved.
Yes, ma'am. These don't look too bad.
Oh, these are just the ones that fell off the main stack.
Nice ceilings.
Precise alphabetical order, library style. Then add them to the logbook.
Things have certainly been piling up around here, haven't they?
I'll be in my office. Are you clear on the project?
Yes, ma'am. Library style. First word, excluding the, a, or an and. Got it.
Probably dots her eyes with hearts, too.
How to train your baby dragon, huh? Maybe. Yipes!
Clang, clang, crash, bang.
Yipes! No, too many sounds.
Let's see how you did, Flashlight. No comment.
I like this panel. Favorite panel.
More about you. Day of the Warrior. Marble Universe. Wait. Marble Universe? Doesn't M come before N in your alphabet, child? Marble Universe?
Yes, but it's not called Marble Universe. Look again.
The official handbook. Huh. You're right. Don't let it happen again.
Yes, ma'am.
Dom, dom, dom.
Gob, gob. Did you ever... Never mind. Glob, globbing. What did...
So, Twi'lek, what are you reading? Later.
Hello? What needs to be done today? And what are you doing in there?
What? I'm doing my business. Eyes may be shot, honey, but the ears are as sharp as ever. These books need to have dust covers put on them.
Really? Because they're already covered in dust.
Ugh, that pun.
Sassy twi. Sorry, ma'am. Just a little joke.
Very little.
I know it's crazy, but call me Maine.
Are you hurt? I heard this terrible sound.
No, ma'am. I was just singing.
Singing? Is that what you kids call music? You want
No.
music? Let's get some real music. Here's one. The Boogie Woogie Pony Boy of... What? Humans, we're done here, folks. Back up, we're done. Get out of here.
What? I don't know. Humans.
Never mind. Carrying on. The Boogie Woogie Pony Boy of Stable C. Oh, bloody doobie woogie boogie oogie. I'm not even going to begin to try this.
Yeah.
This is good stuff. Once you hear it, you can't get it out of your head.
That's what I'm afraid of.
A bit later. No, she wrote that one out longhand.
No way! I thought everyone used a typewriter.
A lot do. In fact, some authors are very picky about theirs.
Do you know what Jadesticker used?
I think she used an old Lippenzoner model. I don't know. You're a little too hooked on her, you know. Have you ever read anything by Cesium Grande?
No, ma'am.
If you love Singer, you'll love Grande, and she wrote more than just one overrated book. I'll get it for you. Twilight Sparkle. Where are you?
Spackle.
Twilight!
I'm sorry. I just opened the cover and the next thing I knew.
You're here to work, child, remember? Letting down the princess? Why, I never!
I'm sorry. The first paragraph was just so good. I couldn't help myself.
Happens to me all the time, Twilight. Why do you think the books pile up around here? More macaroni, Twilight?
Yes, please.
Now, you were saying...
It just seems to me that the point of having all these diverse ponies at the end isn't a telling statement. It's just as likely that at the end of the world, a Pegasus would survive.
That's very insightful.
Thank you. And it doesn't take away from I have no snout yet. I must whiny being a great book, of course. God damn you, italics.
Huh?
Oh. Didn't realize half of that was a title.
You know that author also wrote plays as well.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yada, 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 blah, 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 later. The next morning.
Twilight, I have decided to hobble into town and get us a pie for tonight. There's a new stack of books that needs filed in the south wing. She said not to go into the office. To not go in the office. Never go in the office. But she didn't say I couldn't look through the door if she left it open, right?
Do-do-do-do!
Do-do-do. Wow. Can't believe I forgot my checkbook. Oh, that's you.
Can't believe I forgot my checkbook. I told you to stay out of the office. The most important rule was to stay out of the office.
I didn't go in. The door was open, and I'm sorry, I just...
Get out of my sight and do your work. I'll decide what to do with you later.
Just more.
Pack your things. You leave in the morning.
Jeez, cold, bitch, cold.
No. Early the following morning. What the hey? Ding! You shelved all the books?
I was so upset, I couldn't sleep. Figured I might as well do something. I'm sorry again. It was like a book with a great cover. I couldn't help taking a peek.
Just go. Tell the princess that she can replace me. I don't really care anymore.
She never said you'd be replaced. I just made that up so you'd let me in.
That's how I got my first job as an assistant editor. I told old Pony Bob that the owner sent me. You should know. Twilight Sparkle, you should know. I'm really Jade Singer.
Yeah, I know. I figured that out a few days ago.
Doink. How did you?
I told you, Jade Singer is my favorite author. I know all about her. I recognize the reading glasses that you were wearing in the author photo on the back of the book. I know that Jade Singer is a huge fan of swing music. Horrible, horrible old-time swing music. I know cutie marks don't smear either, unless you're trying to make yours look like something else. Books into bookshelves. And if you didn't do it, I certainly recognize a typewriter. If that didn't do it, I'd certainly recognize a typewriter. You even told me about it. And you still write every day, don't you? That's what you didn't want me to see. Also, you might need to get that service. It sounds pretty loud.
So, why didn't you say anything?
Well, I figured if you wanted it to be hidden, there had to be a reason. I was just respecting that.
You know, I wasn't a lot older than you when my book was first published. It was a big hit. Too big. You don't know what that's like, being that great out of the gate, and having to live up to that a second time.
But I do. When I tested for magic school, I made such a splash. The Princess Celestia took me as her personal student. I have to live up to that every day.
How do you do it?
It's hard. But then I was sent to Ponyville and I made friends. And then it wasn't so bad. They support me. They celebrate my victories and catch me when I fall.
Never had friends like that.
Well, you do now.
I hear it's better than the first one. Twilight, you got a letter. I think it's the test results.
It is! I passed! And there's a note from the princess, too. Okay, Twilight Sparkle. I asked you to write me letters about your lessons in friendship. Today, I have to write you one. You see, I was friends with Jade Singer years ago, but her fame and her fear turned her cold and distant. One of the last times I spoke to her was when I allowed her to hide as an archivist. Thank you for taking care of her, for reaching her, for bringing her talent back into the world. But most of all, thank you for bringing back my friend.
Aww.
Oh, this reminds me. They did this basic story all over again recently, didn't they?
What do you
Twilight?
mean? In which one?
The whole hidden author. I know they do a Daring Do, but I can't remember. I think only one of the more recent comics they did this with Twilight again, the second time. Okay.
Let me think.
Could be wrong, but for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not coming to me either. That doesn't mean that you're not incorrect, though. So
Yeah. I know they did it with Daring Do. Like, that's just
that was a slightly different story to it, and we'll get into that in a second here. But anyway, everyone, that is the Twilight microcomic.
Micro Comics.
Here we come. La 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 la. Couldn't help with that SpongeBob reference. I already throw enough with that silly narrator in. Might as well make another. So, as I said, initial thoughts, everyone?
People need to have thoughts. You must have them. Do them now.
Do you have any initial thoughts, Ice?
Oh, I remember when this one came out. It was like one of the first times it wasn't came out after most of like at least the Chrysalis series had come out. So it was kind of a letdown, honestly. Moving from that to this story about Twilight and this library and this archivist, and it was just like, and then when it's compared to the other ones, it's like it's a good story, but it was kind of predictable.
Yeah, to be
felt.
fair, but just because it's predictable doesn't mean it's terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
I know where you're coming from, though.
Yeah, it was just weird, different than it was. Than like the original, than the original series had been, and I think it gets overshadowed by the ones that have come later.
Bear in mind, though, that as the micro comics, these are just more designed to be appetizers or snacks in between the main comics. This is just say, hey, while you wait for the main comic number 4, 5, 10, whatever, have something lighter to read while you wait, because it's going to take a couple months for us to get through this.
Yeah, they're like, here's one every month. But like, even just like the other ones in the micro series, I think this one gets overshadowed by them.
I definitely think so too. I would definitely say that.
Yeah, I think this one suffered from being the first one that after it, like they started to get really a hang on it, and like besides, and I think it's very hard to write Twilight, a story specifically about Twilight, without it being friendship based. And then if it's friendship based, it's like it no longer becomes just about Twilight anymore. So like, what is Twilight besides friendship? And it's like, well, it's just books. And I think I got trapped in that. But I think definitely that it just falls victim to being the first one. So it's the one everybody kind of builds off of and makes it better. So when you go back to read the first one, you kind of like this one.
Wow, that was terrible. Wow, that was terrible. Wow, that was terrible.
Yeah, this one falls short, and it's like especially after, like, not to spoil anything, but you get like the Rarity and the Luna and those ones. Just make this one. It doesn't make it bad, but you definitely see its age in comparison.
Again, yeah. Yeah, everyone is saying the same thing, that it's the first one, so it's really rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got to agree with you on that one. Everyone's saying that, yeah. That being said, there are some good points that I definitely want to bring up here. I want to talk about the art. I know that Matt mentioned this he's mentioned it to me before. He's mentioned it to me right now here in the chat. What do you have to say about the art on this one, Ice?
Oh, I like the art. I like that after reading the first set with Price and Beckel doing most of it. This one felt, I want to say, more of what you'd expect out of the fandom itself in terms of its style. It's a little rougher.
Yeah.
In terms of dimensions.
That's what I was going to say, was that partially because it's the first, and I think it's just more or less because it's the person, Tom Zellner, behind it.
Yeah.
That how do I want to put this nicely? I think his storytelling was fantastic. I don't think his artwork was very good.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I know I'm one to speak, being Mr. Artist myself, but let's just take a look at one page in particular. The scenes with Princess Celestia here in the very beginning, the only scene that she's in. Was this just copy-pasted? Seriously, these first two instances with her, are these just copy-pasted and manipulated a little bit?
Yep.
And then, yeah, this face. Yes, I am kind of overblowing. I know I'm overblowing it a little bit here, but here, I'll get my ugly mug out of the way. Yes, I think Celestia in particular really suffers in these two panels here, in particular, from the lower quality art.
Yeah, but that's to be expected. This is probably the first time this person's ever drawn ponies. Like for like your first set of attempts, even if they did practices before, to make an entire comic, like I go back and I look at my stuff that I start, and I can't even like look at it. It's so bad that at least this like, even though the anatomy is a little wonky, it's all there, and it's not so bad that it distracts you from anything.
No, that raises my next point, though, is that in spite of this art being not as good as, say, the last comic, well, comic arc, I should say,
Yeah.
I will give Tom a lot of credit for this one. At least his storytelling saves this comic.
Yeah.
This is one of those cases, you could put this one right up there, folks, with, you know how people will always, in the video game industry, particularly consoles,
Yeah.
they're always comparing the graphics. Why do they never say anything about the games? And I know that to some degree it's because, you know, they can't see the future. They don't know what AAA good titles are going to come from it. But that being said, there's a saying in the video game industry, again, particularly in the consoles. Sometimes, in fact, a lot of times, graphics don't make a good game.
No.
And it's the same thing here.
They make a good game for the first like 5 minutes you play the game. When you first get in, and you go, "Oh, look how great this looks." But then if you don't have at least average control and story and all those other things, then it's just a nice painting to look at, and no one wants to play the game.
Mm-hmm. Spot
But
on.
it doesn't matter how good it looks at. If your cameras are bad, or your game is glitchy, or it's broken in some fashion, people aren't going to want to play it. That's kind of why I like Nintendo so much. When they released their system, like, I don't remember them going over, look at our specs, look how great our graphics are. They're just like, here's our system, these are the features of it, and in 3 months you're going to have a new Mario game. There you go. It's like, this is what we hope to do with it.
Mm-hmm. That being said, though, there is a happy medium to this. I will say that.
Yeah.
There do exist some things. Games, art, comics, whatever, name it. Whereas in sometimes, yes, terrible graphics and terrible design can be a distraction. They genuinely can.
Yes.
If this was some kind of 5-year-old's drawing, and I mean that,
Like literally a 5-year-old drew it.
or if anything, yeah, I'll say that. I was thinking, yeah, like they'd literally have a 5-year-old draw this. But if it looked like a 5-year-old's drawing, I would probably be complaining and saying, "Why are you getting this? You know, what possessed them to draw this like a 5-year-old?"
So if they had Tox drawing it.
oh man, oh.
I couldn't resist. I have to get my jabs in, but he's gone. He'll come back when he comes back, like 6 months from now, to see that he's right. He'll catch that comment. I'm leaving that in there for him for later. Yeah, I think there's a limit to how bad something can be before it just becomes either unplayable or unreadable. It becomes too much. Mm-hmm. It goes for graphics, it goes for the art, it goes for the story. Like, you need to find that balance. You can have a below average looking game or comic if the other areas make up for it.
Exactly.
But those have to make up for it. You have to have fantastic story to make up for not as great art. But if you have average art and a bad like art and the average story, that art becomes all the worse because of that. It becomes more noticeable.
Yep. Got it. Spot on, man.
Yeah, but stories seem like this story, like you go through it and you don't really realize you're not spending a lot of time looking at the pictures as you move through. You're more looking for the words and going through, and I think that's the benefit it has, is it can make mistakes because you're going to go through it and you're going to spend maybe a second and a half looking at that panel and moving on. That's why, like, even like in like fandom comics, you can get away with not perfect stuff because people don't spend that much time actually looking at it.
Well, this brings to another point is there's a certain level of expectations to be had.
Yeah.
Again, look at the circumstances surrounding this comic. It's the first in the series. One guy's doing both the story and the art.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Never mind, that was it. Anyway, the point is take those two things into consideration here. Do you think that's going to pump out extreme show-accurate designs, or maybe even some different take on it, like Andy Price's style? Probably not.
Yeah,
and therefore we can suspend our, I guess for lack of better terms, disbelief. We can suspend our disbelief and say, okay, yeah, we can say that the art's bad, and we should. To deny the truth of the matter is foolish.
Yeah.
But that being said, I don't think we should go so far as to say something like, ZOMG, art terrible, reading comic, not doing, rip, done.
0 to 10 IGN, too much water.
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like this benefited from being the first in the series. I think if this was next month's Friends Forever, there would be it would be trashed. Like, people would be like, what the hell is this?
I think you got a point there, definitely.
But really, by the time this came out, you had about 2 to 3 months of the Chrysalis arc already out. So people were used to, but at the same time, they were still in that moment where people were unsure of what the hell a pony comic is going to be. And they were still very much accepting of the idea of, look, we get pony comics are going to be more towards that older audience that the show doesn't really pander to.
They still can't afford to go with.
Yeah, the people who make the show just don't really care about in terms of when they're making their content. They're still trying to keep the original demographic, and the original demographic for these is older, the comics. So you're still in that moment where they're like, is it going to be successful? So there was a lot more leeway towards the art because the people who are directed at appreciate story more. So you're coming out of like Chrysalis, where it's good art, good story, and everybody's happy that finally Chrysalis. You get this image of Chrysalis that's a lot darker, and you come into this, and here's a new series. Everybody's still kind of apprehensive because it's like, oh, it's like a one pony series. Like they had a lot lower expectations of what it's supposed to be. That the art could pass. Because it's still rudimentary, like show coloring, and for the most part semi-show style, more so than Price's, and because Andy Price and Beckel, they go all out, and they go their own way. They go the art, they have the shading, they have that's very stylized itself, and I think people just accepted it. If this came out next month, I think that we have a higher expectation of what a good pony comic is now.
So sorry.
No, go.
Okay, I was going to say, let's move on to the story. That's about all this one, I don't have a lot to talk about, folks, but I'm getting the impression doing these comics, especially the micro ones, that they're not going to have a lot to talk about. We even may go so far as to end early for once.
I don't know.
Let's talk about the story.
I think when you get to the Luna one, you're gonna go overtime. That one was the best one by far.
To be fair, that is true. I do think that one's going to be an exception. This one, on the other hand, I think we're going to get through pretty quick. So, what do you guys have to say about the story itself?
I wonder if Pawlowski read this before he wrote Daring Don't. Yeah, I wonder if he had been exposed to this beforehand. Because the beginning of that episode is very much like a similarity, and I think for Twilight, I think it just shows the difference between the maturity in Twilight and Rainbow Dash. That Twilight can handle meeting her idols.
Well, when you've been with Princess Celestia all your life, you're really everyone else just kind of pales in comparison. Yeah.
Also, it probably helped that she didn't know who she was for the first 2 or 3 days, so she got to know her as a pony before she became to know that she was famous.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you already know her flaws.
The story, you make a point about Polsky reading this beforehand. Now, I don't know if he did, but that's not my point. The point is this is one of those stories that gets, how do I want to word this nicely? You know the phrase, there is nothing new under the sun?
Yeah.
Well, this is it. This is a good example of it.
It is.
Anyway, I was just trying to tell the chat something. This story has been done. I've seen this story done dozens and dozens of times. You want a case in point? Cars. The Disney Pixar movie Cars. Doc and Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
Whether it be a side story or the main story, like in this case, the whole idea of some younger person, usually a kid, like a 10 years old kid, meets some old fogey who is shut up, bound up in his or her room, or more or less just sticks to their own thing. And the kid is assigned to do something, work in their yard, or in this case, help them reshelve books because they suffered an injury of some sort. Something like that. As they work, they might grow a little bit closer together, but at some point, whether immediately after or immediately in the start, again, in this case, some sort of plot device is established where it says, where the character is, the kid is told, stay out of the old fogey's closet or specific room, or don't touch some precious object, something like that.
Yeah.
The story goes on. Like I said, they bond, and then somehow, some way, fate throws a wrench into the matter. The kid wanders into the room or touches the thing, or whatever. The old fogey gets mad, and it gets to this story. I'm just repeating the story, and I'm sorry. The point is it plays out exactly like this.
There's a touch of Pinkie Pie and Cranky in it too.
That's actually, there's another example right there. I like these stories. Personally, I like these stories. I really do, especially when they're done very well. The reason being is because, especially for the old fogey character, it makes a wonderful story of moving on. Oftentimes, in fact, almost always, is what the old fogey is hiding from is either shame, a happy memory, or they're unable to cope, or in this case, did I say running from a past?
No.
Okay, yeah, they're running from some past or trying to hide from some literal thing. In this case, it's like I said, she is running from a past. She's Jade Singer is unable to cope with her success, so she hid herself away. She was unable to accept the fact that she was unable to deal with the success. Finally, after years and years and years and years of hiding, here comes Twilight Sparkle, who activates the plot device and gets Jade Singer to open up. When Jade opens up, it basically, I wouldn't say fixes her in so much as it allows her to realize, she realizes herself. She realizes, gee, what have I been running from? It allows her to apologize to herself and move on from what happened before. That's what's so great about these stories, is it's very human, if you will. Take, how do I word this?
Yeah, it very much kind of humanizes the old fogey who's supposed to be afraid, and I get what you mean.
It forces them to reveal their most naked self, their naked soul, and at the very deepest, darkest pit, nonetheless, their fear. And they're revealing it to a child, usually. Or, if anything, some younger character. How...
Not
What's
just
the
that.
right word I want to use here? I don't want to say horrifying, but how open, vulnerable that a situation is. That's what's so great about it to me is if it's done very well, it can be done very, very damn well because of that.
Yeah. I also think that it's just interesting. It like kind of shows that the old person who's supposed to be like the wise old person is learning something from the kid. Learning something new, maybe something they forgot or something they never knew in the first place, and this kid brings that back for them.
Mm-hmm.
It was just how. And then it makes you wonder, like, was this Celestia's plan all along? Is this another moment of her pulling her usual, let's get Twilight to solve my problems?
I wouldn't put it past her that now that you mention it.
I would like to see in the next season her come out and just flat out say it. That she's like sending Twilight out because she doesn't want to do it. Like just have one moment where she like calls Twilight to Canterlot to do something completely obvious, like meet a dignitary or hold court, or she directs all the ponies with problems to like Twilight's castle because she just doesn't want to deal with it. And then it shows her off on like vacation or something, or like at a spa.
You know, there's a point to be made in that, but that's going to come up very far in the future for me. But I'll just say it right now. Think about it from the sense of a politician, and I don't mean that as in a sneaky way. I mean think about it in a more of a how do you govern an empire, or any governing body for that matter. But again, think of it in a serious way, and I'll get back to you on that in the far future.
Oh yeah, she does it for a reason, but it's just amusing to watch it happen because you know why she's doing it.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know, you're just like, what if she's when you get what if she's only doing it to be lazy? But you know, no. It's like, what if she's just doing it because she wants to go to the spa today? So she's like, Twilight can deal with this. But she makes it pretty obviously clear in the third season that that's not the case.
Of course, I don't know. That would be funny. Just the idea of, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to send Twilight to do it.
Just one time have that happen. Be hilarious. Or like ponies like rich ponies like Fancy Pants and just show up in Ponyville and show up at the castle with their disputes because Canterlot Castle is closed because Celestia wants to sleep in. Or Twilight's forced to like raise the sun because Celestia has decided to sleep in. And like just that one moment where she's just completely lazy and it's like, oh, Twilight can do it. It'd be hilarious.
Anything else to be said? Like, I guess I'll ask this one last question. So overall, what do you have to say about this comic? Is there something that maybe you didn't catch on, but overarching that you want to say about this comic? And this can go for the audience too. I'll wait for your guys' responses.
I don't know, but I've been wanting to say this the entire time. But I don't know if the digital copy has all the covers with it. But the cover A for this is hilarious.
Which one is that one?
It's the one with Twilight like up on like two hooves and like books open around her and all this magic going off.
The digital ones, I believe, have all of the comic covers, and it starts off with that one. I made mention in the chat about the shipfic folder in the lower left. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Like, figure, and Spike. And you can see Spike's reading your fan fiction and just like can't contain himself.
Come on, know it's a ship fic. They're always ship fics.
Of course they are. And the fact just for like the juxtaposition on the box it says Spike keep out. And then this entire comic is about an older pony telling Twilight keep out of my room. You're not allowed to look at my writing. And here is Twilight on the cover doing the same thing to Spike.
The irony.
Yeah. It's just, that was the perfect comparison. Like, how much, like, you don't realize what the cover's saying until after you've read it. That's just perfect.
Mr. Ben, you're one to say that. Overall, it's kind of what we have. I'm just going to summarize because we've hit every point in terms of the overall aspect. Yeah, it definitely suffers from being the first comic in various aspects. The art in particular really stands out on this as not being very good. But the story really saves this one. I mean, it shines above everything. And overall, I definitely would say if this is the comic that I would say this is a good comic to start out with. At least in the sense of to say, if your friend is not picky about art, start them here. There's no continuity that they need to take into consideration. It's a great story. It's a pleasant read. If you're trying to get your friend into the comic, this is probably a good place to start.
Yeah, I think it is. I think you could do a lot worse with some of the micro comics that come after this as a starting out one. That if you read that one first might put you off to the entire idea.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Though if you start them with the annual Sunset Shimmer one, that's perfect. Just saying. Best comic.
We'll get there when we get to that one.
Best comic, because it's all about Sunset Shimmer. As a pony, too.
Well, only somewhat.
Well,
I mean, only for about the first 10 pages at that. No, 5.
The important 10 pages is that background. And it's my favorite one because of that. But I'm biased because I like Sunset Shimmer.
If that's the case, then I think we will wrap up here.
Alrighty.
So, folks, a couple of things I want to just go over really quickly. Due to some if I recall right, they put one other thing I wanted to mention about starting someone off on the Twilight microcomic. Assuming that hasn't changed, it's free on Comixology.
Is it?
Yeah. Again, assuming that hasn't changed, I got the Twilight micro because it was free. So if you want to start someone off, there's a really good reason to use it, is because it's free. I don't have it verified, so I could be wrong on this one.
Oh, so there's $1.99 here.
Oh, they put it back on the market for money?
Yeah.
Okay, they did have it temporarily for free once, so never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, wrapping up here. Don't forget about our open application. If you're interested in working here, we will put your name on record. It's not a guarantee that you will work here, but if you want to be considered, put it in. Just don't put it in your mouth.
Don't you put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Because you might get sick.
Yuck! Don't forget about our Season 5 schedule. Yes, we will be streaming the episode live in less than a week, this coming Saturday. Be here bright and early, as we've got all sorts of fun stuff for you to watch. Last thing, and the most important thing I need to go over with, at least in regards to Babble with Bronies, due to some unforeseen real-life circumstances with me, we will not have BwB next week. I'm sorry, but it was so last minute that it caught me off guard. So there will be no BwB next week on the 4th, or the 5th, I'm sorry. On the 12th, we will do our April Fool's Day joke episode, or at least I say joke in parentheses. I think I'm going to keep that one a surprise, though.
The joke is there is no joke. It's going to be completely serious. There's going to be a test and everything.
Oh, no, I've got a joke. Don't worry, I've got one, but you know how most people do torture and stuff? This one I'm going more for something that people would actually enjoy. So this one is...
Not to say some people might not enjoy the torture.
For what it's worth, though, is I do have a plan. I do have something, and it's going to be an episode style review. So no guest speakers next week. The one after that, we will resume the micros with the Rainbow Dash microcomic on the 19th of April. So until then, I want to thank you all for stopping on by. Especially thank you, Icesticker, for sticking by.
Thank you for having me. It was enjoyable.
No problem. On behalf of myself, Mr. Ben, and Twilight is Magic, hope to see you in 2 weeks. Until then, farewell.